Joining me now is OutKick founder and co-host of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show, Clay Travis. So it's not, Clay, a firing. It was a suspension, a short suspension from Disney.
Yeah, and Will, I bet you would agree with me. I teed off on this. I don't want to be lectured about the First Amendment from anyone who said nothing when Roseanne's top-rated show was pulled off the air 7 years ago, from people who said nothing when Gina Carano's show was pulled off of Disney Plus because people didn't like their social media postings. I didn't hear a single person on the left. I didn't hear a single person in Hollywood speak out. They all cheered it, in fact. I would say this is the right decision because I don't like the idea of deciding based on one comment that we're not going to have somebody on the air anymore, whether they're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent. But I will share the idea that I put out there that I shared with Jimmy himself. I think Jimmy Kimmel should come back on Tuesday. I think he should say that the phrase that he used to try to discuss Charlie Kirk was ill-written and poorly delivered. I also think he should say one of the reasons this might have occurred is because my writing staff might not really be aware of what half the country is talking about. And I would say what he should pledge, and I would say this about The View too, Will. I would say he should say every week from now on, we're going to have a Donald Trump voter on as a guest, and we're going to make it a part, since this is a talk show that's supposed to speak to all of America, of trying to hear from all of America. It doesn't mean that it's strident politically or anything like that, but I would say you could start with Adam Carolla, his old friend on The Man Show. We had him on Clay and Buck today, who is a Trump-supporting L.A. Comedian. I think this is a no-brainer. I think it would be a smart move. I don't know if he'll do it, but that's the way that I would say he should go about trying to address what he said on the show last week.
I'm a little less forgiving, Clay, and maybe forgiving is not the right word to use in this situation. But I'm a little more punitive in that it's not about a singular comment. That singular comment was simply, although it wasn't simply straw, it might have been a bale of hay on the camel's back. It was something that was cumulative over the time of Jimmy Kimmel disrespecting and ignoring more than half of this country. And the way that that joke gets in there, to the extent that it is a joke, to suggest that the shooter is MAGA is by him living in an insulated bubble of ideology, probably echoed on Blue Sky, thinking that is representative of America. And he simply doesn't understand America. So if I'm ABC, what do I need somebody that's supposed to get a mass audience for that not only doesn't understand, but hates a great, great swath of America?
Yeah, that's why I think he has to address this directly. I don't think you can tiptoe around it. And I want to see an addressing of the situation that actually leads to something that could be better, which is the Jimmy Kimmel audience is exposed to people like you, to people like Adam Carolla, maybe to people like me, and they say, hey, you know what? These are Trump-voting guys that I don't dislike. And, Will, you know this is actually a part of, I think, a more significant aspect of Disney here. Disney is buying, as you well know, the NFL Network. They're going to need the Trump administration to sign off on this. I don't think if I'm running Disney that this is something that the Trump administration is going to look favorably upon. And so I think there need to be actual changes in the way this show is airing. And I think the Trump administration needs to look aggressively at that potential acquisition of the NFL Network and say, wait a minute, is Disney/ABC really trying to speak to all of America? If they won't do it on a late night show, will they do it with sports? I think that's real questions that deserve to be asked.
I think it's a cost to business that you're laying out for Disney. I think there's a cost to America that I'm concerned about. And it's the fact that only 10% of Democrats right now understand that Tyler Robinson came from the left. That's because of people like Jimmy Kimmel. And there's another cost to America. And this is the story I wanted to ask you about today, Clay, that we saw over the weekend an ABC station in Sacramento shot up by someone. They've been arrested, first by the state of California, released quickly, by the way, then arrested by the FBI. The suspect is Annabelle Hernandez Santana. He shot 3 times at the ABC 10 station. He was released on bail on Saturday, rearrested by the FBI. He's facing charges. But look at this from the DOJ, Clay. This is what he said in his letter. He said that there was a plan to go on and in a handwritten note said, do the next scary thing. Law enforcement also found a note that said, for hiding Epstein and ignoring red flags, do not support Patel, Bongino, and AG Pam Bondi. They're next. CK from above. So this is another crazy person, inundated, saturated in the nonsense from the left, moved to violence.
Yes, and this is why I am so angry about this, Will, and I'm going to tee off, and I've been teeing off on it quite a bit. You cannot call your political opponents for a decade. You can't call Donald Trump Adolf Hitler. And you can't call everyone like you and me who voted for Trump modern-day Nazis and expect that there are going to be no consequences. The guy who tried to kill Brett Kavanaugh, crazy left-wing leftist motivated by political violence. The guy that killed Charlie Kirk, crazy left-wing leftist who was in many ways motivated by this crazy language. This guy who just shot up the ABC Sacramento, thankfully nobody was hurt. The guy who tried to kill Trump, we know for sure, on trial right now in Florida. And I also believe the guy who tried to kill him in Butler. These people's brains have been polluted by left-wing rhetoric. If you're telling people these guys are Nazis and fascists, don't then show up when they actually act and say, oh, we decry the violence. They caused it. Left-wingers are creating this. They are causing this violence. It is a huge major issue. It has to be addressed. And I think, unfortunately, more of this violence is going to happen until it is.
Well, until they correct the rhetoric, because the examples, to your point, are piling up. All right, great to see you as always. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.